Hello, this is Victor. I'm here with announcement that I will do a Q&A, and also I want to do a channel update. So first of all, I want to remind everybody I'm doing a contest. You will find the link in the description below. You still have time until beginning of July. You have to go to the original video where I explain how to participate in a giveaway. The giveaway is 25 euros voucher in a store, in an online store, or you can choose a miniature that is up to 25 euros. I will purchase this miniature, I will paint the miniature, I will do a tutorial on the painting job, and then I will send this miniature to you. So yeah, if you want to know more details, go to the link below. I think it's a good opportunity, and if you want a miniature painted by me, this is the way to go. So you can entry, and then you have to give an idea for a video that you would like to see, and then from there I will make a random choice, and I will pick the winner from there. Sorry, I have here my little one for the interruption. And after this small interruption, just a very fast studio update. If you follow my channel, you know this little guy is painted. Okay, I'm very happy. I will do, of course, a showcase once everything is finished. Now I'm painting the rider. The rider is right here, and it's quite. The progress is quite good. Of course, I go for the green armor, and yeah, looking forward really to put this on the battlefield. We are planning to make a big battle, Stormcast Eternals versus Bloodbone, or Khorne versus Khorne, beginning of July, the first weekend of July. So I'm planning to participate or to go with this little guy and my Stormcast Eternals. So let's see how many armies this guy together with the Celestial Prime should be a good striking force. And yeah, and the other thing that I want to announce is I create a Facebook group. You will find also the link in the description below. This Facebook group is for, the purpose of this Facebook group is to share, ask questions. I want to make it as an open forum where the people that is following that channel can raise questions, can share the work that you are doing with the rest of the community, and we can interact more, and we can learn more from each other. So please go to the link below, subscribe to the Facebook, and there is a good forum for you to share your work and to make me questions or to share your tips. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. This is a forum where you can share how you do the same things I do in a different way. And now let's go to the Q&A. So I want to start a Q&A videos. You can put your questions here in this video below. If the question is big enough to make a video, we'll do a video, but should be fast questions that you want to know about me. If you want to know more details about me, about anything, you make the question. You can do the question as you want, on the topic that you want. And to start this Q&A today, I have received a question from Edic Beer. So also you can find, I will put him the link to Edic Beer in the description below, so a lot of links I have to put there, about how I choose the colors for my armies. And this is quite a tricky question, because I have a lot of colors, I have a lot of armies. But I will say the first thing, when I started painting, when you don't have a lot of knowledge about painting colors and those things, the first thing I was doing is I was following color schemes. I was trying to reproduce what I see on the books. And I started doing, one of my first was I paint the Berserkers of Khorne for 40k as they were appearing in the book, the blood red with the gold and all these type of things. But later on I started doing my own armies. So then I did the Alpha Legion, and then I was looking the codex, how the Alpha Legion was looking like, and I did my own interpretation, and then I painted Alpha Legion according to that. So I have two types of armies. The ones that I try to follow the color scheme of the book, I do my own interpretation, and then I go. I have a lot of influence from the 90s, I would say, because it's when I start working, especially my Chaos army have a lot of influence from the 90s. So for example, my Noise Marines are following the influence of the 90s, that have a lot of color for each armor plate in a different color, so it's really a blast of color. But recently, when doing my own color scheme, I'm trying to follow the next rule. I look first the book. I look the codex. I look the heavy metal work. I look all the different color schemes. I look the ideas that Games Workshop is putting there on the codex. And then from there, I try to choose two colors that make sense for that army. Two colors that I like. And normally when I choose these two colors, I choose colors that are contrasting. And let me show you some examples. So I will move the camera now and I will show you some examples of what I mean. So let's look some examples. This is, for example, a very easy way to choose your color. Black, and then you choose any color that you want. All of them will be complementary to black. They will have good contrast, except if you go for grays or browns. But you go for another bright color. The case, this was when I was doing my Renegade Guard, I wanted to go for a very easy color scheme. Well, easy. Black is not that easy to paint, but I decided to go for black and red, that I know is quite striking colors. They're combined very well, and they are not. So I was looking for some striking colors. Chaos, normally you want to go for dark colors, black colors, something that is showing that they are from the dark gods. Then this is another one. In that case, for example, it all depends. I try to imagine the fluff of my army. Okay, in that case, I was looking for a jungle fighter. What I did is I started digging on different camouflage patterns, different ways to do camouflage, and at the end, I choose something that I know that I have to paint a lot of miniatures because I was looking to make an infantry centered army. So I decided to go for a pattern that I can reproduce quite easily, colors that they will look okay. So I decided to go for a pattern that is quite easy to reproduce and for dark colors. The challenge when you do this type of patterns is doing the highlights, because of course you have to do the highlights on the top of the pattern and it makes it more difficult. So I decided to go for a way that this is make easy. So I do the pattern, a wash, and then I pick points, some highlights, and that's all. Okay, so this is another way. But then I start doing my color schemes. One of my first color schemes that I did that is this one. Here I wanted to go for something very different from what I was doing. I wanted to go for some more earthy neutral colors. So I decided to go for this brown combining with white bone color. Okay, and then this was the basic colors I choose. I decided that main color is going to be brown, and then I try to look for complementary colors in the same spectrum, and I just add this earthy red terracotta color to complement and to do the details. So always this is one way to go. You go all on the same type of palette of colors. You try to go from very light to quite dark on the same palette of colors, and then deviating a little bit with adding red to the same, but at the end is almost on the same color, I would say, choose. So this case, I wanted to do something that was different. I want to go for something that was looking like more earthy color. In the case of my Grey Knights, I decided to go for something that was not silver. I thought that there are too many silver Grey Knights and say, okay, why they all have to be silver? And I wanted to do something different, and this is what I went for, this bluish grayish that is more like, and here I just broke the sword. Okay, something that is more on the, I will say, looks like more space wolves. But then I decided to do, okay, I don't want them to look really space wolves, so I will look for two complementary colors, and these are yellow and red. So you have a very neutral color that is the gray, always the same. How I choose my colors, I try to visualize. I look the book, I try to visualize how they will look like. I do a test model, and then from there I start developing the color. So you start with for example, in the case I was starting doing the gray. Then I said to do some yellow to make accents, and said, okay, I need another color to complement. And then I went for the red for the cloth and all other details, the sigils. And of course, then there are things that have to be the schools and the patches have to be in this white cream color. Okay, so this is the way I choose the colors. I start with two colors, and then from there I start thinking how the details should look like. In that case, I always think I wanted cream color and red. Okay, I wanted to go for the cream color. I like this cream color, and I wanted to use red as a complementary color. Cream is very neutral color. Sorry, I was out. Cream is a very neutral color, and then I go to red. So this is how I decide to go for this color scheme. Of course, then I realized that I have feathers, and then I need to make the feathers contrast with the cream color. So I have to be sure that they look different from the armor color. So this is why I went for a bluish feathers, white with blue. I wanted to keep all on the white spectrum, but then I playing with the shades. You can really distinguish one color from the other. So again, how I choose the color of this army, I wanted a cream armor because I like a lot, and then I said I want to add some red details. Okay, and this is why I say, okay, the clothes have to be red, the eagles, the Aquilas will be red, the symbols will be red, and the rest is going to be cream. Okay, and then for the feathers I will go for a different white. This was one of the most complex choices. Here I was clear that I wanted to work with pink. This was one of my things. So I decided, okay, I will go with pink, and then I go with a complementary color with the pink, and I decided blue is a good complementary color. I wanted to go for bright colors, and then have black, or this black highlighted with purple, as a contrasting color to the brightness of the armor. And then on the top, I wanted this is maybe one of the most complex from color choice point of view. I know the first thing I defined was I want this pattern, this how I will say, this harlequin or diamond pattern between this bright blue and the pink. Then I cannot do all this. I need another color to contrast with that. I went to red. Okay, but when I was painting that, then I saw that there are all these type of things, okay, of ribbons that are holding from the different places, and also we have the shoulder pads, and I want them to pop up on top of all the colors I have, and this is why I went for the yellow color, and I think they all match together. This is quite complex. When you start working with 4 different color combinations, then of course the mask for me was a must to be white, but in that case I want to have white shaded with purple, pinkish color, because it was combining with the black, was contrasting with the black with purple of the capes and on the clothes. So this was quite a difficult color choice, okay? And on top of that, I want each of them to be different. So here my point is, all harlequins have to have a different, so they have to. This is one of the things that I wanted to do with harlequins, and this maybe sometimes is complex. Let me show you back the example of the chaos here, okay? In the chaos I was very clear what I want. I want brown armor, white shoulder pads, white helmets, okay? And then the symbols in these brown reddish colors. But and all can look the same because they are like unified armor. But the harlequins, I don't want them to look all the same. I want them to be coherent, but I want them to look different. So this is why you choose some colors that you have to fix. I fix the color of this pattern, I fix the color of the rainbows, I fix the black and the white mask. Okay, the white mask is something that is driving through, and then how I put them on each different miniature is different. Let me show another one to see what it means. For example, here we have another harlequin. So the purple and the black and the diamond pattern combination is different. So he has more black, for example, this one is darker. Okay? but they look coherent. They look from the same army. So when here we have another example. Okay, this is the solitaire. Okay, the solitaire, I want him to look completely different from the rest, but I want to be coherent with the army. So I went for dark robes. I like dark clothes, but inside I put the pattern on the legs and half of the cape. So in that way, it's looking coherent. And also we have the yellow. The yellow is a color that is striking through the army. You can see the yellow popping up in the full army. The ones that may look more different are the shadows, yes, and for me this was good. But I still try to fix the pattern. And here I deviate quite a lot, but I still using the same, I fixed all, I did not add colors. So this guy and this guy, so both have the same colors on the painting, okay? So this is one way when you go for complex. So here, really, I want to give personality to each miniature, but I want to keep the coherency of the army. And the way to give coherency is to keep the yellow, you see, I keep the yellow shoulder pads. Of course, the mask of this guy have to be different, but I keep the purple and yellow. Here, I break. One trick here is, you see, I do the purple with the dark, pink with the dark purple, and the vibrant blue with the dark purple. So what I did is I break the pattern here, and I split it on the trousers. So these are the tricks to keep the coherency of the army and to make them look different. And this is why can be sometimes some tricky, because the risk of making each one independent is that you can break the coherency. And this is a lot what happened, for example, with my Bretonian army. In my Bretonian army, I was choosing a very different color schemes. So I was trying to personalize each one different. And then let's go to the last example. Here how I choose the color here is I wanted to do the green. This was my point. And then I looked for a color that was contrasting for the green and was making sense from the fluff of the army. And this is how I choose the gold. And I decided to do white accents as well, but then the white I decided to go with green shades, so in order that it looks coherent with the rest of the painting job. The only thing that at the beginning was a little bit challenging is to add the purple, but I think for the clothes and to make these notches different, I decided to add an additional color. But I start with the green. I add brown. I decided to go for brown for all the different, to look more leathery, to look more because if you do when you doing the green armor, can look very futuristic. So in order to make them look less futuristic, I start adding brown to look like leather, and I start adding gold to look like the metal. So this is a way to choose the colors of your army. So the first thing I do is I look through the book. I look how the heavy metal from Games Workshop is looking like. I dig through internet. I look for examples, and then once I saw that, I try to visualize in my mind what color I want to choose from there. So a color that makes sense for the army, and a color that something that makes sense for the background. So I try to word those. So I try to look a little bit what is the background of the army, what is the fluff I want to put behind this army, and then I look what color schemes we see in the internet and try to match to arrive to an idea. Once I have this idea, I make like the first we'll say test miniature, and to do that I use normally a regular solder. So for example, if you want to do this, I took one Liberator, that is the standard troop. If I do that, I took an Imperial Guardian. Okay, this one is the Sergeant, can be also a good choice, okay, because you have a little bit more of detail. I also start with the Prime here, for example, because then I have the clothes and I can look how the clothes will look like. Okay, if I do Harlequins, I start with a Harlequin troop, and then from there I can start developing, and then is how I choose, and here I start just with one of these guys. Okay, so this is the way I choose. So I start, and from there I start very rough, choosing 2-3 colors, okay, normally 2, and then when I start painting and I start seeing the details, then I think which complementary color I can use for this army. When I have chosen the colors I use for the details, the colors I use I fix this palette, and I try to force myself to work only on that palette for all the characters. And this is extremely important for me when I do armies that each miniature wants to be independent, but at the end you want coherency between the miniatures. Okay, so this is my answer, a little bit long. Eric Beer, Nick, yeah, I know I spent a little bit of time on that, but I want to show you different examples on how to choose the color of your army. Sorry if the video has been too long, but I wanted really to give a good answer on that. And so far, that's all for this video. Please, just summarizing, I have the contest. Go to the link below if you want to participate in the contest. I have the Facebook group. If you want to show your work, go to the Facebook group. And yeah, and if you want to support this channel, I also have a Patreon account. You can support me in Patreon. And that's all for now. Please leave your comment below, let me know. Put your questions. You want to make me questions, put your questions below. I will start a questions and answers. The more questions I have from you, the more we can enjoy doing the questions and answers. I will try to be faster in my next questions. All will depend how much I want to go into detail in the questions. But this one I consider was a quite interesting question from Eric Beer. And for now, that's all. As usual, leave your questions below, comments, like if you have liked it, share this video. And as usual, thanks a lot for watching, and see you again later. Bye!